What if everything standing between you and the life you want, the freedom, the ease, the flow of opportunities, and financial security, has nothing to do with the economy, your job, or even the numbers in your bank account? What if the real barrier is the way your brain is currently wired? Not because you're broken, not because you're manifesting wrong, but because somewhere along the way, without even realizing it, your mind learned to expect lack, to anticipate that life is hard, that there's never enough, that success is for other people but not you. And here's the thing, most of us carry this programming. We were raised in it. We absorbed it from the people around us, from society, from the fears we heard whispered in our homes growing up. Over time, those fears became our default lens, the way we see the world, the filter through which every situation is interpreted. That lens is why some people constantly feel stuck, while others seem to move through life with ease. It's not luck. It's not magic. And it's not because one group works 10 times harder. It's because the ones who seem to thrive are not trapped in the filter of scarcity. Their brains, consciously or unconsciously, are wired for something different. And the good news? You can rewire yours too, not by forcing yourself to think positive, not by sitting in front of a vision board hoping the universe drops a check in the mail, but by understanding how your brain actually works, how it filters reality, and using simple, science-backed practices to shift that filter. By the time you're done with this, you'll understand why your mind defaults to scarcity, how to unhook from that old wiring, and how to gently retrain your brain to notice opportunity, take aligned action, and create a life that feels abundant, not as a fantasy, but as your new normal. Why scarcity feels like reality. If you've ever wondered why, no matter what you try, life still feels like one uphill climb, it's not because you're destined for struggle. It's because your brain is designed to conserve energy by running on patterns. Think of your mind as a prediction machine. Its job is to scan the world and confirm what it already believes to be true. If deep down you believe money is scarce, I'll never get ahead, or I'm just not the type of person who catches breaks, your brain will unconsciously filter your entire experience to make those beliefs appear true. You'll notice the bills, but not the chance to make more. You'll remember every time things went wrong, but not the doors that quietly opened. You'll feel validated in your fears, but blind to the opportunities sitting in plain sight. This isn't bad luck, it's neuroscience. It's called confirmation bias, your brain's built-in tendency to seek proof of what it already expects. And where do these expectations come from? Most of them aren't even yours. They were planted years ago, from parents or caregivers stressed about money, constantly saying, "We can't afford that." From hearing people complain that life is just hard, or money doesn't grow on trees. From cultural messages that celebrate overwork, hustle, and scarcity as if they're signs of virtue. Over years, these ideas become your inner script. They feel like facts, even though they're just inherited fears. This is why simply thinking positive doesn't work. If your core wiring is still set to scarcity, the words you say out loud don't matter. Your brain will continue filtering life through the same old lens, and your experience will continue to match that lens. But here's what most people never realize. Your brain can change. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to literally rewire itself, to form new pathways, to stop defaulting to the old scripts and start building new ones. And the moment you understand this, everything shifts, because you no longer have to wait for life to magically improve. You can begin training your brain to see differently, so the opportunities that were always there finally come into focus. The shift from scarcity to abundance. Before we get into the practical steps, we need to get clear on what abundance actually means. Most people hear the word and immediately think of money, luxury, excess. But abundance isn't a dollar amount. It's not a number in your bank account. Abundance is a state of perception. It's the ability to see possibility where others see problems, to feel grounded instead of panicked, even when things are uncertain, to notice the doors that are open rather than fixating on the ones that are closed. Two people can experience the exact same event, let's say, losing a job. One person collapses into fear. This is the end. I'm doomed. The world is against me. They freeze, panic, and miss the opportunities that come next. The other pauses, breathes, and thinks, this hurts. But maybe this is a nudge to find something better, something I actually care about. Maybe it's a chance to finally start that business I've been dreaming about. They take action, they network, they stay open. The situation itself is neutral. The difference is the lens. When you change your lens, your behavior changes. When your behavior changes, your results change. And when your results change, life starts to feel completely different, not because it magically transformed overnight, but because you stopped living as a prisoner of your old programming. The practice of rewiring. So how do we actually change the lens? How do we shift from scarcity to abundance in a way that's grounded, repeatable, and real? We do it through a simple 3-step process that works with your brain's natural wiring. It doesn't take hours of meditation or endless journaling. You don't have to pretend you're happy when you're not. And you don't have to force yourself to believe things that feel fake. Instead, you gently train your mind to notice, question, and redirect. Over time, this builds a new default pathway, a new filter through which life starts to look and feel different. Here's how it works. Step 1, catch the scarcity scripts. The first step is awareness. Most of your scarcity programming runs on autopilot, so before you can change it, you have to see it. For the next 2 days, carry a small notebook or just use the Notes app on your phone. Every time you notice a thought about lack, fear, or not enough, write it down. It might sound like, I'll never make enough money. I'm always behind everyone else. If I spend this, I'll regret it later because I won't have enough. Things never work out for me. Don't try to change the thoughts yet. Don't judge yourself for having them. Just collect them. You might be surprised how many you find. For most people, these scripts run constantly in the background. They've been repeated for so long that they feel like the truth. But when you see them written down, you start to realize how much of your mental space is taken up by fear and assumption. And this is the first crack in the old wiring because awareness weakens automaticity. Once you see a thought clearly, it stops being an invisible puppet master. It becomes something you can actually work with. Step 2, flip the lens. Once you've spotted a scarcity thought, it's time to challenge it. Not with toxic positivity, not by pretending everything is perfect, but by opening the door to a new, more expansive perspective. When you catch a thought like, I'll never get out of debt, or I'm always stuck, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. Is this absolutely true? Is it a fact, or just a fear? Most of the time, it's just a story your mind is repeating, not an unchangeable reality. What's a more expansive way to see this? For example, instead of, I'll never get out of debt, you might reframe it as, I don't know the future, but today, I can make choices that move me forward, even in small ways. What action can I take from this new perspective? Abundance isn't passive. It grows as you act from a place of trust and possibility. Maybe it's making 1 phone call, applying for 1 opportunity, learning 1 new skill, or choosing to spend your energy on something that expands your options instead of shrinking them. Every time you do this, you weaken the old neural pathway, the automatic loop of scarcity, and strengthen a new one. Over time, your brain starts to naturally default to the expansive lens because you've literally trained it to. Step 3, train your attention. Your brain is like a muscle. It strengthens whatever you repeatedly focus on. So the 3rd step is to deliberately train your attention each day. Every morning, spend just 5 minutes doing this. Not visualizing a fantasy, not pretending everything is perfect, but focusing on what you can create, how you can show up, and what abundance feels like in a grounded way. Picture yourself moving through the day with calm confidence. Picture yourself solving challenges with clarity instead of panic. Picture yourself noticing opportunities instead of problems, feeling resourceful instead of stuck. This isn't about asking the universe to magically drop something into your lap. It's about teaching your nervous system what safety, confidence, and possibility feel like, so you naturally take actions that create more of it. Neurons that fire together, wire together. The more you let your brain rehearse this state, the more it becomes your default, not just emotionally, but in the choices you make, the risks you take, and the doors you notice and walk through. What happens when the wiring changes? When your brain stops defaulting to fear and scarcity? Everything begins to shift even before your bank account changes. You stop procrastinating out of self-doubt. You stop making desperate choices that lead to short-term relief but long-term pain. You naturally build better relationships because you're not closed off or defensive. You feel calmer, which allows creative solutions to emerge. Abundance at its core isn't just about money. It's about freedom. Freedom from the constant grip of fear. Freedom from the stories that have been running your life. Freedom to actually see and act on the opportunities around you. And once that inner shift happens, the outer results inevitably follow, not because you've forced them, but because your mind and behavior are finally aligned with the life you want to create. Your 7-day challenge, now it's time to put this into practice. Because rewiring doesn't happen by just listening or nodding along. It happens when you do the work, consistently, even in small steps. For the next 7 days, commit to these 3 practices. Catch your scarcity thoughts, write them down. Reframe each one using the 3 questions. Train your attention every morning for 5 minutes. That's it. It's simple. But if you do it consistently, you'll feel the difference. Your mind will start to soften. The grip of fear will loosen. And you'll begin to notice the subtle but powerful ways abundance starts to show up, not as some cosmic miracle, but as the natural result of a mind that's finely tuned to see it. And when that happens, you won't have to force abundance anymore. You won't have to chase it. You'll simply become the kind of person who naturally creates it. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who's been feeling stuck, someone who needs a reminder that their mind and their life can change. And I'd love to hear from you. What is the #1 scarcity story you're ready to let go of today? Leave it in the comments and let's start this shift together. If you want more practical tools like this, real ways to change your thinking and your life without the hype, make sure you subscribe, because we're just getting started.